I do love pointing out some slimy journalistic tricks when I see them, and I'm going to use this article as just point number one, and then also the subject material is kind of hilarious, so we're just going to go ahead and run with it here for a second. Defensive men. See, okay, again, just right off rip, okay? If you don't believe this study, you're clearly defensive, because it just kind of speaks to a wider societal phenomenon, okay? And I'll elaborate on this once we get through it. So it's all about defensive men doubt findings of recent female ejaculation study. Oh, I'm sure that if you just disagree with that, oh, that just means you have small dick energy and that you can't make a girl come. And it's like, okay, cool, wonderful, fantastic. What do you propose? Because we already know that you hate men, because you're allowed to have open misinjury, but God forbid you don't agree with current study right now, then you just Not only do you not agree with the science, now, oh my God, you just hate all women, you're just an evil misogynist, and the amount of women and young people today that don't know the actual definition of misogyny is astounding, okay? Because I've heard the misogyny by some young people, some 20-year-old women out there that say, misogyny is just when a man is narcissistic and doesn't listen to women. God, you're just blithering idiots today. The public school system should be ashamed, but they aren't, because, hey man, they're pushing out the little cogs that go into the big machines in order to make the system function as intended. But anyways, let's see this, and I don't know. Female-centric study. Okay, yeah, just please. Men need to step up their dick game, otherwise women are just going to leave them. I'm sure that's the whole finding in this. I haven't read this yet, but we're about to. A study published last month solved the long-running mystery surrounding female ejaculation, but doubt has been cast on the findings by some defensive men. Oh, I don't know, maybe the study is faulty? Like, I don't even know what we're doing here yet, but you've already poisoned the well so thoroughly. This is the reason why I had to talk about this. I seen the headline. I know the subject matter is obviously going to get some clicks, but just pointing out slimy journalism, that's just, oh, that's cream of the crop right there. A little creamy, you say. Anyways, during sex, women can produce a few different forms of fluid. Yes, we know. One obvious one. Obviously, if it's really good and it's really passionate, a little bit of sweat. Okay. Some people like a little bit of spit as well. And if she doesn't do what she's told, a little bit of blood. Anyways, then... Oh, as orgasm is reached, a milky fluid is excreted from the urethra, the hole we urinate from. Yeah, no. Okay. And... about 5% of women release a clear liquid from the urethra at orgasm, often in much larger quantities than the milky stuff, a process known as squirting. Nah, it's just piss. Shut your mouth. That's already been studied like a lot, okay? Nothing special about it, and it's just, hey, man. It's cool the first time, but it's fucking annoying when you have to continue to change the sheets. That's why if you're fucking a squirter, you do it at her place. Anyways, however, the origin of the liquid has never been determined. No, it has been. It's been studied plenty of time. What are you talking about? Well, studies have determined the milky fluid comes from the skinny glands. Oh, you're talking about that, but you already... Anyways. Okay, tiny structures that drain into the urethra. The clear liquid some women expel has remained undetermined until now. No, oh my god, whatever. Scientists in Japan. Oh my god, the creepiest of motherfuckers. Just published research that claims the fluid comes from the bladder. There you go. It's piss. Dun dun dun. Stating only the milky fluid excreted can be classed as female ejaculation. Yeah, no shit. Without getting too graphic, some girls are more viscous than others. I've found it's mostly when it comes to hydration levels. More hydrated, the less viscous it is, and less hydrated. It's kind of like with your piss, okay? The lighter the yellow, the better you're hydrated. The darker the yellow, and the stronger the smell. Anyways, the findings published in the International Journal of Urology were made after Miyobi Inoue. Okay, Inoue, whatever. A urologist at the Miyobi... Oh, okay, cool. Urogyne Clinic. Oh, okay. You guys know each other? I'd imagine so. And her colleagues injected blue dye mixed with water into the bladders of 5 female volunteers who expelled the clear liquid. Wow, you got 5 women and you just come to these sweeping conclusions. How awesome. And there you have right there, just, yep, you're clueless white guy, because of course you do. What's controversial about this so far? Let's get to that, because you already called men stupid for disagreeing with us. After the subject was stimulated to the point of climax, could you make that sound less sexy? Okay, a researcher collected the ejected liquid in a sterile cup. Now, if you got a real whore in the participation list, did you have her arc it across the room and you just stood there with a little fucking funnel? That'd be fun. Anyways, and all 5 women, it was blue. Oh, okay, cool. This confirms the squirting does seem to originate in the bladder. Jessica Pafs at the University of Gothenburg in Sweden told the publication. But there are still so many questions, like, does the liquid have the same composition as urine? Yeah, we've seen that tested, and that's what it is, okay. And why is that some women expel this liquid and others don't? There you go. It's almost like bladder control, and how well some women are in control of their pelvic floors and all that kind of fun stuff. In a way, said that women in the study all had good bladder control. What, you just ask them? Fill out this questionnaire, suggesting their squirting wasn't caused by urinary incontinence. Yeah, again, they're not exactly terribly experienced in this type of stuff, I'm guessing. Not the women, because again, women don't know unless they're being told. Without getting into too much detail in order to get this video further age restricted, because they tried to do that, but I've been on a pretty good run here lately of getting age restrictions taken down, so I don't need to get too graphic on this, but sometimes, you know, when you're doing your thing, you and a nice young lady want to engage in some amateur wrestling, we'll just go with that. She wants to kick out of the pinfall attempt because she thinks that she has to go pee, when in actuality it's a preface to climax. So if you just go ahead and shoot the half as it will, just make sure that the rubber sheets are out. Anyways, at the time of ejaculating the clear fluid, 4 women in the study also appeared to experience female ejaculation, which contains prostate-specific antigen, PSA. Oh, not that type of PSA, different type. Also present in male ejaculation produced from the prostate. Yeah, if it's prostate specific. Anyways, yeah, but women don't have prostates. That's weird. The clear liquid from 4 of the women in the study was found to contain PSA, suggesting they produced female ejaculate around the same time as they squirted urine. Yeah, no doubt. And the 2 fluids mixed together in the urethra. Despite the fact previous studies also suggested the phenomenon known as squirting comes from the bladder, the findings have been met with skepticism from hordes of men online. There we go. Other than the fact that you just detailed a bunch of the findings from the report, and none of that ended up coming up. In fact, I had to interject some personal stories in there in order to really connect the dots for you. But now you're just saying, it's just men saying that there's different things on this. Oh, okay. It doesn't taste like urine, and it has an unlimited supply. What are you talking about? Does this theoretical girl that you fucked just walk around and she constantly has to change her diaper? Like, what are you talking about? There might be urine in it. Doesn't mean it's urine. Oh, my Lord have mercy. It's the same chemical compound, you fucking moron. Oh, yeah, and then just going back to that first comment, okay, because it says, yeah, there's an unlimited supply and it doesn't taste like urine. Is that just a soft admission that you're into water sports? Fucking weirdo. Women were quick to mock some of the shocked men at their responses, explaining that it's something women knew all along. Fucking women don't even know their bodies, let alone what their box is capable of doing in the hands of a proficient user. Men need scientific study to admit that they're being peed on. It's not actually gods. They're not actually gods in bed, one scoffed. What are you talking about? The only reason it's excreted is because somebody's doing something right. I'm just saying. Never understood a man's desire to make a woman squirt. Somebody's just admitted that they've had terrible lovers in the past. Anyways, surely getting a woman to actually orgasm would be a better achievement. Stop self-snitching there, Sally, okay? There's no squirting without an actual orgasm, so I'm sorry about that. Stop using all those power tools and those back massagers and find a good one out there and you might actually get to experience that. Why are all these guys getting so defensive about this? Doesn't really look like it. It looks like there's 2 comments and there's nothing defensive about this at all. But again, it's just your customary woman who just pops in there and says, "Who hurt you?" While one woman remarked, "It's astonishing that in 2022 still so little is known about female sexuality." As it should be. This is haram. 2015, researchers in France conducted ultrasound scans on women who express large amounts of liquid at orgasm throughout the orgasm process. There we go. That's probably what I've been citing without actually knowing that's what I'm citing. They found that despite starting with an empty bladder, just before climax, these bladders were once again full. Yeah, it's almost like there's other physiological processes going on. Like, in order to provide nature's lubricant, there's going to have to be some hydration present in order to make all of that shit happen as well. So that would kind of make sense. Study presents convincing evidence that squirting in women is chemically similar to urine. There we go. And also contains small amount of PSA that is present in men and women's true ejaculate. Yeah, a little bit, because they don't have the same structure that's in the oh, it's in a biological man. Women don't have a prostate. Imagine that. A sexual health psychologist. Why are you asking a psychologist? You should be asking a biologist, chemist for that matter, if you're breaking down compounds. Said at the time the study helps to reconcile the controversy over the fluids that many women report releasing at orgasm. There are evidently two different fluids with two different sources. Whether either of these fluids play a physiological role, that is, whether they serve any adaptive function, is not known. Now, we're at the end of this article, and it just kind of leaves me with more questions than actual answers, if we're being completely honest on this, because I'd like to know more about the physiological processes that are there, because, hey, that's my kind of stance on all this type of stuff. I want to know more about things that I'm interested in. You could have really roped in a couple of other studies, especially when it comes to orgasm and how women will fake orgasms for what they perceive to be, and, don't take any offense to this, alpha men as opposed to beta men, because they want to lock down and keep that alpha male, their perceived alpha male, in their circle, as opposed for beta male, where they're just kind of doing their job. That phenomenon exists as well. You could rope that in order to stoke some defensive responses that are out there just saying, hey, guess what, guys? Women, when they're with us, they don't have to fake their orgasms like they do with those dirty alpha men that are out there. Just not realizing that women actually don't orgasm with betas. But again, you could put that in there if you wanted to elicit any sort of a defensive response that are out there. Or you could just put in the whole pair bonding thing, where it looks like about 20 to 30% of the time when women orgasm, they have a stronger connection with a man that makes them orgasm in there as well. That leads to better pair bonding down the road. You could have put that in there as well, but you didn't. You just decided to take a couple of clips that were out there in order to paint the entire article. Hey, if you don't agree with what I'm writing, you're clearly a part of this. A defensive group of men, these clearly stupid men that don't understand that it's just pee at the end of the day. But still, even if we just go back to these defensive men and their comments that were in there, what was it? It was still just all centered around connotation that men are just simply bumbling. Oh, you don't understand the structures. You don't understand how complex we are. It's all argued from a very femme-centric understanding. But hey, you do you. Rebecca Scanlon. You go out there and you try to elicit an emotional response without actually backing up any of your stuff. Long story short, yeah, piss belongs in the toilet, and that's coincidentally right next to how much I care about the woman's nut. Haha. Anyways, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.